What we can expect from the local market with Stan Chamu from IG in Melbourne. Stan, great to see you there this morning. We appreciate your time. After being closed yesterday, what can we expect from the market today? Because we have a little bit of catching up to do if you look at Asian stocks yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. We really have to balance out the factors from Friday's trade in US and Europe, and of course yesterday's trade in Asia, US and Europe as well. So if you actually look at some of the factors that affected risk on Friday, it was fairly positive across the boards. Of course, we saw that better than expected, or that larger than expected repayment on those LTROs kick in on Friday night, and that really boosted the Eurozone. At the same time, a fairly buoyant sort of earnings season in the US saw the S&P post an 8 consecutive winning session, and this is the longest winning streak since 2004. So it certainly seems like we have responded quite well to the earnings season in the US. Of course, leading into the earnings season, there was a lot of skepticism out there, just a lot of doubters thinking that US earnings won't be that good, and this really hasn't turned out to be the case. And of course, we do continue to see some strong reports across the board. And just moving on to some of the action we saw overnight, Caterpillar was obviously one of the main stocks to watch there. It's really an economic bellwether for global growth in general. Of course, they're the largest mining and construction equipment supplier, and they've predicted a strong second half with strong global growth lifting sales. So that's probably going to be one of the main points of focus going into today's Asian session. So just looking at our opening call at the moment, we actually have the Aussie market up 0.7% at 4867. Of course, there have been some calls for a fairly flat open, but no, that's not the case if you actually do consider some of the moves we've seen in US futures from Friday as opposed to yesterday. So it will be a fairly positive open. Hopefully we can hold on to those gains early on. Of course, we do have some factors to contend with, like those industrial profits from China yesterday, which showed a fourth consecutive month of growth, and that will be very positive for the local market today, along with that Caterpillar result. We are looking at a fairly positive open for BHP with its ADR pointing to a 0.3% gain to about 37.20. At the same time, we have seen iron ore tick higher to about 148.40, so that there should be some strength in that iron ore space early on. At the same time, we do have some negative factors to contend with, especially with these floods kicking in. Of course, we will have to keep an eye on the insurers like Insurance Australia Group, Suncorp and QBE. They always get dealt the bad hand when we've got such adverse weather-related issues. At the same time, some mining companies have operations in affected regions, and they might have to shut operations for a little while, so that might be something else to look out for. But overall, we do expect to see a fairly positive risk environment for the local market. At the same time, we've got those industrial profits numbers and the Caterpillar result helping some of the industrials names like McMahon's that have struggled over the past few weeks. So that will be another issue to look out for. On the economic front, there's not much to go on locally. We've only have the NAB business confidence data due out at about 11:30, so that probably won't carry as much weight though as some of the other factors I spoke about before. So we'll have to really see what can keep this rally going at the moment. There's not much out there, but for now we are looking at a fairly positive open.
Okay, Stan Chamu, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate that. Okay, we're going to get more on that lead from Wall Street now with